Video games as a thing are always growing, and oftentimes there are newcomers of all ages. Not every gamer grew up with a Super Nintendo or even a Nintendo 64 anymore, and people jumping in fresh can make some really silly mistakes. So we're having fun today and talking about 10 of the biggest mistakes first-time gamers can make. Starting off at number 10, dismissing a game because of the way it looks graphically. Now, I think this is harder to do now because there are a lot of games with unique art styles that could be perceived as bad graphics, which I guess is your problem depending on how you look at it. But let's look at Minecraft, for example. Someone who's new to gaming might see Minecraft and think, oh, this game has really bad graphics and looks like a baby game, I'm not playing that. But what they don't realize is that they're missing out on this giant juggernaut of an awesome, creatively fantastic game. If you like survival games, you'd be missing out on a pretty good one because I think Minecraft is still a great survival game, and they'd be missing out on creative mode where you can just build literally anything. Another example of a bigger game would be Fortnite. You know, when you first look at it, you might just see a cartoony looking free-to-play game when at its core, it's a really good shooter that takes some real skill to play. PUBG as well. You know, it's definitely not the nicest game to look at, but man, is it fun. Same can be said about more indie titles like Undertale, Shovel Knight, West of Loathing, Bastion. All of these have very specific and deliberate art styles. They aren't, and I quote, bad graphics. It just might not be for you, but you should still give it a shot anyway. You never know, you might end up loving it. Moving on over to number 9 though, missing something extremely important during a tutorial. This one is an easy one, and it's pretty sure it's happened to everyone at least once. Tutorials just aren't there for you to sit on your phone until it's over. It's there to literally teach you how to play the game. So pay attention. Sometimes there are some really important things that they teach. Weird little mechanics that you might not think are a big deal but actually are, and might be super important to the core gameplay or just things down the line. There are a few occasions where I've gotten a few hours into a game and something felt off or weird and I realized that I missed an important detail in a tutorial because I didn't give it the attention that I should have. So even more experienced gamers can miss things and make mistakes, so beginners should really pay attention. Do yourself a favor and just always pay attention to a tutorial and you won't regret it. Next at number 8, a mistake a beginner gamer can make is not realizing that a game doesn't have autosave. This one isn't something you'll come across too much in newer games, seeing that it is a pretty common quality of life thing at this point. But if you're going back and playing some older games, you definitely want to be aware of whether or not that game supports autosaving. Trust me, you really don't want to find out the hard way. Getting through a hard area, beating that boss that's taken you forever, and then you die or turn off the game only to realize that it didn't save is so defeating. And depending on the situation, it might be so hard of a hit that you might not even want to turn the game on again and just feel like chucking it in the trash. So be careful, be aware of the save system in the new or old game that you're playing because you do not want to have to redo a hard boss or replay an hour plus just because you forgot to save. Every game has a different save system and it's smart to educate yourself before going in. Now at number 7, another mistake a beginner can make is thinking you can get by without learning a parrying system in a combat game. Now, some games have mechanics that you don't necessarily have to use and you could get away with kind of ignoring, but there are certain mechanics and certain types of games where you really can't ignore it. Parrying and blocking in most instances in action or fighting games is one of those mechanics that you have to utilize and also kind of master to survive. Think of something like Sekiro or Dark Souls. You know, can you even imagine playing one of those games without blocking or parrying at least most of the time? Sekiro in particular, parrying is literally how you win. Deflecting an enemy to get a quick hit in or drain their stun meter is essential to the game, and ignoring that or figuring out these mechanics later on is also important to how you're gonna have fun, honestly. The same goes for fighting games. You have to know how to block. You're gonna always fall victim to a long string combo if you don't do something to break it. Yeah, playing the offensive and just going ham on your opponent is a viable strategy, sure, but it's safe to assume that your opponent does know how to block and parry and all that, and it's not going to work all the time. Sometimes the timing can be really difficult to nail down, but with some patience and practice, you'll figure it out no problem. So patience, our young Padawans. Let's move on to number 6. Just racing games in general. Jumping into a racing game thinking you can drive. You know, you've played Mario Kart, you got this, but oh boy, if it's a simulation game, highly realistic racing games with deep, strict mechanics and an emphasis on physics and true-to-life track racing, you're screwed, you know? How bad could it be, right? Yeah, you know how cars work. You drive one every day, maybe. Well, not the case. Chances are, in most instances, you're gonna be all over the road. Turning and cornering is much trickier than just turning. It's not that simple. Perfect example. I started out early in gaming, but many kids I knew in school maybe got their first game console with the PlayStation 2. and the launch bundle with Gran Turismo 3 was very common in North America. Every kid on the playground hated Gran Turismo 3 and thought it was bad because they kept crashing or had to drive slow and didn't have fun. Games like that, even up to this day, the modern mainline Forza games, learn the technique. That's where the fun is with simulation games and a lot of hardcore racing games. Or, hey, just don't even bother and play an arcade racer, because those are great too. They're a little more accessible, and it's a different type of fun, but it's a fun nonetheless. Still, it's something that we see beginner gamers struggle with, and it's really funny. This game is stupid. It doesn't work. Why can't I turn? We've heard it all, man. Now, next at number 5, a mistake a beginner gamer might make, especially if they have some expendable income, is buying cheats. Now, this one is really kind of personal opinion, I guess, but the act of paying for what is essentially cheats in a game like, say, Resident Evil 2. Now, we won't tell you how to spend your money, and if you're down with this, then good for you, that's fine, I'm glad you're into it, but paying a few bucks to unlock all the additional modes, costumes, and infinite ammo weapons in like Resident Evil 2 is kind of silly, because you're kind of robbing yourself of the true experience of the game. Think about it. Resident Evil 2 is all about inventory management, not having enough ammo, healing items, and knowing that you really can't take out every single enemy that you see, and that dumping ammo into Mr. X is at times almost the same as just throwing bullets into a trash can. All of that is essential to the core mechanics and how the game is essentially fun, and when you run around with, say, the Samurai's Edge or a rocket launcher with infinite ammo on your first playthrough, you're losing out on all of that. You're missing how the game works and what the charm really is. Now, doing it after like 2 runs or so is different. At that point, you're going for more of a speed run or whatever. You know how the game works, you've experienced it how it was intended. But unlocking additional modes and cool weapons has always been a part of games like Resident Evil from the get-go, and paying for it just seems weird and like a straight up disservice to the game. But like I said, we're not your dad, we're not gonna tell you what to do, but it's just food for thought for beginning gamers. If you are capable and up to it, consider experiencing the game the way it was originally designed, the way it was meant to be played, you know? Now, down to number 4, a common mistake we've seen is being fooled by an ad, thinking that CGI, computer-generated trailers are actually gameplay. Now, this is a big-time rookie mistake, but it absolutely fools people, especially in the earlier days, too, like when the internet was less of a thing and TV commercials with pre-rendered sequences were super, super common. So often, I'd be in the TV room and I'd have a parent or sibling look over at me, the resident video game person, and they'd go, "Wow, that's really the game, huh?" "No, sorry, Grandpa, it's not. That's not the game. Sorry, I'm still bitter about Killzone 2. You guys remember that? When the PlayStation 3 was first coming out, they had that pre-rendered trailer saying, "Look at this amazing game. That's gameplay, right?" Nope, it's not. Chances are with video games like modern innovations, things have gotten great. Video games look incredible now. People work so hard to make them look astounding. But at the end of the day, still, the biggest rule is, if it looks too good to be true, a lot of the times, yeah, it's too good to be true. Thankfully, things get better and better, and consumers are more and more informed these days, so they know what's real and what isn't, generally. But if you're just starting out in the world of video games, it's an easy mistake to make. Now, down to number 3, thinking you're good enough to beat the best players in a particular game. Oh man, so you might have some great runs. You might have a great KD ratio. You might be able to get a higher combo than anyone else you know. You might be the best gamer out of all your friends, by far. But have you seen competitive gaming? Esports, the fighting game community? Sorry, but these people are on another level. I think it's great and healthy to aspire to greatness, but you gotta know the playing field. You gotta know who that is at the top of the leaderboards. These people play every day as a full-time job for years, and we think that the new beginner gamers just don't realize what it really takes. It's definitely humbling for sure, but now in 2020, the way video games work, you might feel like you're the best out of everybody you know, but there's a whole other world out there. And you know what, if we're talking about mistakes like that, let's piggyback off to number 2, with some people who think that, playing through the game's single-player campaign is actually going to prepare you for online battles. Sorry, most of the time, I'd say 9 times out of 10, it just doesn't. It doesn't matter, man. Multiplayer is a whole different beast. Playing against humans is always different than playing against AI bots. There are some games, especially like in the 90s, there were some games with some really, really good bots, but the human element is always the most unpredictable thing, and the video game can't really train you for that. Actually engaging in the competition can. Perfect example. Let's take a more modern example. You play through the Modern Warfare campaign, the 2019 Modern Warfare campaign, which is a pretty good campaign. Now you might think you're the ultimate soldier and you can hop into multiplayer and do well. Son, just don't. There's so much more going on, learning the meta, the way games develop, they become their own different things in the multiplayer realm. And beginners don't often know that and kind of get their ass burned going in. So that's what we're here to discuss. We're just keeping you guys informed. If any beginners out there are actually watching this, considering most of the people that watch these videos are pretty hardcore. But I digress. Let's move over to number 1 and talk about one of my favorite subjects, and that is playing a game that has a puzzle and you overlook the simplest thing. This is a beginner mistake, but it's honestly even an expert mistake still sometimes. You might be playing anything from like the original Resident Evil Mansion to something more modern in terms of puzzle games like The Witness, and hit a complete brick wall and be stomped for hours. You pace around a room, either in real life or in the digital world, looking for clues, looking for the solution, just endlessly poring over everything. You've scoured every rock, right? Well, the one thing that beginner gamers often don't do, the biggest mistake they make, is to forget to take a deep breath and maybe even consider stepping away from the game. The amount of times I've gotten through a puzzle or even just a hard point in a game by turning the game off and playing it 6 hours later, or a day later, or 2 days later, when I have a fresh brain and fresh fingers, that makes all the difference. Some people try and brute force these games, and if you've been playing games for a long time, you know that sometimes you just can't do that. You gotta know your limits, dude. Knowing your limits, honestly, is one of the biggest things you can learn. Regardless though, we're talking about beginner gamers, and those are some mistakes that we think that they have definitely made. Now, you all out there play video games, you know the deal. You've also met probably some beginners, you probably introduced some people to video games, so let us know in the comments some mistakes that you've seen people make, or some mistakes you've made yourselves. Maybe it's your first foray into video games, maybe it's your first foray or your first attempt at a certain genre of game, a type of game. Let us know anything like this down in the comments. We'd love to hear from you guys. And if you enjoyed this video and had a good time with us, clicking the like button is the best way you can help us out. We really appreciate that. And hey, if you're new, consider subscribing, because if you like this stuff, we put out videos every single day. But as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.